Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The European Union says it will step up sanctions against Belarus and those closest to its leader in response to an escalating migrant crisis at its border with Poland. Video released earlier shows hundreds of migrants waiting at the Poland-Belarus border for crossing towards Europe. At least 2,000 people, including women and children, are now stuck at the Belarus-Poland border area in dire conditions. Other footage shows the now empty camps where the migrants have been staying for the past few days. The EU has accused Belarus of pushing migrants towards its eastern borders to undermine security, a charge it denies. Police presence has grown on the Polish side of the border. Over 8,000 people have tried to enter the bloc via Belarus this year, up sharply from just 150 last year. US President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping have held a virtual summit as tensions between the two countries deepen. The competing superpowers surprised many last week by issuing a joint declaration to address climate change at talks in Glasgow.
But the fact that China, trying to assert, understandably, a new role in the world as a world leader, not showing up, come on.
But growing concerns of a military confrontation over Taiwan, cybersecurity, trade and nuclear non-proliferation are all subjects on the table. The US journalist Danny Fenster has been released from prison in Myanmar after he was sentenced to 11 years in jail by a military court last week. The 37-year-old will be allowed to leave the country, a junta spokesman said. The managing editor of online site Frontier Myanmar was detained in May. He is one of dozens of journalists held since a military coup in February and was convicted of breaching immigration law, unlawful association and encouraging dissent against the military. It is not yet known how or why he was freed. Police have declared the explosion in a taxi outside a hospital in Liverpool on Sunday as a terrorist incident. Incredible security camera footage shows the moment the car exploded. The taxi driver has been hailed as a hero for apparently locking the doors of the cab moments before the blast. Named locally as David Perry, he can be seen running from the car to safety, suffering injuries that are not life-threatening. Soon after, the taxi catches fire, which rips through the vehicle. A person thought to have been holding the explosive device died at the scene. Detectives have arrested 4 people in relation to the incident. Libya's military prosecutor has asked the electoral body to halt processing the paperwork for the presidential candidacy of Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of the country's late ruler Muammar Gaddafi. It comes after Mr. Gaddafi submitted documents as a presidential candidate in the elections set for next month. Mohamed Garouda warned that the commission would be held responsible if the processing of the paperwork was not halted. He also asked that the paperwork for warlord Khalifa Haftar, who is also seeking the presidency, be suspended. Cuban state security agents have blocked the organizer of pro-democracy rallies planned for today from leaving his home. Security forces surrounded the home of Junior Garcia and those of other leading activists. It follows protests in Miami and Florida about the government. The ruling Communist Party has banned the protests, which it says are US-backed attempts at overthrowing the government. India's Supreme Court has told authorities to shut offices in the capital of New Delhi and nearby cities, allowing millions to work from home as officials seek ways to reduce air pollution. Thick smog has descended on New Delhi, forcing the closure of schools. The Supreme Court has also ordered measures to halt vehicle traffic that is not essential, cut industrial pollution and limit dust. Authorities have been battling the toxic haze since early November. And finally, volunteer models decked out in elaborate priest garbs walked the runway to organ music in the cathedral of the Belgian city of Tournai in a rare display of religious clothing. During the show, models presented the clothes, which showed the evolution of gowns from the 17th century to the 21st century to an audience of around 100 people. The Cathedral Catwalk marked the first time in 50 years the garments had been shown to the public. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.